Good afternoon, guys. Yeah, it is afternoon. Welcome to Instant Spurs,
Technically speaking.
episode 7. just about. Well, guys, how you doing? Haz, Chris,
Yeah,
thank you for joining
yeah.
us. You both went to the game yesterday, so yeah, it'll be good. I watched it on the telly, so yeah, it'll be good to get your point of view from being in the stadium. You know, you see the game slightly differently when you're at the game. So yeah, it'll be good to get you two. Look, I'm not happy after that performance, guys. I've got to be honest. I think it's 2 points dropped. Very, very disappointed with that second half performance. I think Wolves deserve to probably win it on their performance, but we'll get into it. And the question and of the title of the show is: did Frank fail to react? And hopefully, after the next hour or so, we'll kind of get to that kind of answer. And yeah, so guys, Haz, how you doing, man? Thank you for jumping on.
Yeah, I'm all right. Just another point. I guess it's all right on the face of it, but we'll get into it a bit later on. So I'll just save my piece till later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I spent some of last week redecorating my office. So you can see in the background, I've got my Gascoigne shirt there on the wall, and see a Klinsmann one in the corner there. So yeah, my room looks good, even if Spurs don't. So
Yeah, I was disappointed. Like after all the results in the day, it was just. And Nigel said to me where we did a show in the afternoon yesterday, and Nigel said, "Oh, it's gonna, Spurs are gonna blow it." And I said, "No, we've got to win this game. Wolves bottom of the league, 5 defeats. Yes, I know they won in the week against Everton in the cup, but surely this was a game that we would play well, score some goals, and get to second in the league, but." Unfortunately, the game didn't play out that way. So look, let's start off with the starting lineup of the sides, guys. Were you happy with the starting lineups?
Haz, I'll let you go, mate.
Yeah. Right. I thought there was enough on the pitch to win the game. So apart from putting Simmons on the left, where we'll get into later, but he clearly struggled. I don't know what else he could have done because obviously the fullbacks, he's going to play 2 of the 3. I guess it was Porro's turn to be on the bench, which probably means Porro's going to play on Tuesday. But obviously, moving Simmons to the left, you kind of create a problem in the middle because Bergvall, for all his energy and his, he did all right yesterday, but against Doncaster, I thought he was really poor. He's not really I don't still classify him as like a senior established number 10. Like he's playing there, but is he really the creator we need to be in the middle? I don't know. I have question marks over that. And I guess up front, we have no other choice. Has to play Richarlison because Mwani and Solanke is still on the sidelines. So it was like a decent lineup, but would I have done anything different? Maybe I would have put Simmons in the middle and Odegaard on the left because I thought Odegaard actually did all right in midweek. But apart from that, I wouldn't have changed anything.
Let's just go to the chat quickly, say a few hellos in there. Big up, Fernando. The only thing that I took from the game is confusion as to why Paulina celebrated like we won. And Alfie Hall, Bodo and Leeds away have to be better performances from the players and manager. Don't see Xavi on the left anymore, has to play 10. Yeah, look, we're going to talk about that. And I think, the celebration, I think it was more relief, right, that we didn't get an embarrassing defeat. And it was a great goal, I felt, from Paulinho. But we'll come to that. We'll come to that, yeah. Let's just want to hear from Chris on that starting lineup as well, mate.
Yeah, look, I'm not being smart in hindsight. I was on a show trying to sort of predict the lineups and the difference between predicting what I thought he'd do and what I'd want him to do. I'd make 2 criticisms that I would have made at kickoff that probably now look like being smart after the game. But yeah, I don't want to see Simmons on the left at all. I think he's far more effective in the middle. And let's be honest, I mean, I've seen some people get on his back. It's still early days for him. I think he's shown he hasn't done anything major for us, but it's so early days. And I think you can see that he's a good player and he impacts play more when he's in the middle. On the left, I don't care to the extent that maybe I'd have held a pre-match raffle and whoever in the crowd won the draw just stuck them on the left-hand side. I think that's kind of where we are with our left-wing options. I'm not bothered. Odegaard, Tell, Kinski. I don't really give a crap who we play left wing. I think they're all rubbish. My second criticism would have been when we were talking about who we play midweek, I thought that was the game to rest Porro because of the three, he's definitely the most creative, if that's the right word. He's the best attacking fullback that we've got of the three. So I don't really get why we're playing him against Doncaster and then we're not playing him in a home game against a sort of bottom half or bottom of the league as they were or still are Premier League side. So I would have played Porro and Spence yesterday, but I can understand having played Porro in the week why then he wants to rotate. I just think that was the wrong way round for me. But generally speaking, I don't have major problems with it because there are some, as we'll get into this will sort of be a theme of what I'm saying. There are some problems here that I think are kind of unsolvable at the moment. And it doesn't massively matter what permutation of these players that we play, you've still got a major problem somewhere on the pitch. So, yeah, it wasn't what I wanted to see, but I didn't think it was a disaster. And it just didn't quite pan out, did it? So... But yeah,
I mean, look, I didn't think we needed both Bentancur and Paulinho in there. I thought we could have been a bit more creative in that middle. I don't think you need to play at home against teams like Wolves. You need a bit more about yourself. And Simmons, it's just so ineffective off that left, to be honest. He keeps persisting with Bergvall. He's trying to get him a rhythm. He's trying to give him minutes. I get that. He's been playing okay. Kudos obviously was an obvious starter, and Paulinho. I wanted him to play back four. Yeah, fine. Doggy playing that natural left width, and Spence on the right. Yeah, Porro needed a rest. So I would have gone with a left winger myself. I know they're not great. Wilson, he played the last couple of games and now he's just dropped him. The guy's got to play. Yeah, I don't particularly rate him. I have my doubts about him, but with young players, you've got to give them a run in the team, playing every week to see if something gets better. Because Xavi he weren't playing particularly well anyway. He was giving the ball away. I know he moved more central in that second half, but he weren't having a good game. But we've got to play with natural width, guys. What do you reckon, mate?
Well, after his performance against Doncaster, like I said, I probably would have played Odegaard on the left because I thought, even though he wasn't amazing, at least he was half decent, I thought, in the Doncaster game. And he did get kind of the assist for the own goal against Doncaster. So maybe he could give him a run there for 4 or 5 games. But it's clear that even Frank doesn't know the answer to the left wing because he's tried so many players there. Like he put Xavi there yesterday. Tells where he's going to play at some point over there. I even think when Mwani comes back or Solanke or both, he might even put Mwani out there. He might even put Richarlison out there because there's no first choice established player down there. Like I know Sava said it on his stream probably a month ago. We're going to be seeing so many different players on the left wing because I don't think we have an established. There's not an assigned player that's going to play there. So, but for me, I would probably have gone to Odegaard yesterday as well. Like I said, I think he was probably our best option there. But I think with Simmons, people need to be a bit more patient as well because he's a young player. He's come from a different league and it's going to take him time to adapt to the Premier League. And you can see it really where I think he needs to go out and bulk up a bit as well because he was muscled off the ball quite a bit. And it's just how the Premier League is. Like you're going to face teams where they're going to bully you. So there's still a lot of work to do with him as well. And regardless of where he's playing on the pitch, he needs to go out and just get stronger really. But yeah, there's still good signs there. It's just I think it's just going to take time, and we just have to be patient for the next 2 years maybe for it to come to fruition with this project or whatever people are going to label it now. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Before I go to Chris, just go to the chat. Alfie Hall says the only 2 positives out of the game is 1, we didn't lose, and 2, no injuries from what we saw. And I just want to say a few hellos. Hello, Richards, man. How you doing? Afternoon to you. And Ricky Vila TV, afternoon to you as well, man. Hope you're good. Chris, look, should we get into the game? Let's get into that first half because I felt that we were playing okay. I thought we were a bit pedestrian. I don't think we moved the ball fast enough. Defensively, I thought we were okay. We created some chances. Could have gone to goal or 2 up. Kudos had 2 chances. He hit the bar. There was a shot and then there was like an air shot from Bergvall when a cross went into the box, kind of like inside of the foot from Kudos, and then the doggy went on a run, but it just wasn't decisive enough with his final ball. And I think the other chance was with Charlison, another ball from Kudos, which he just couldn't get on the end of. Chris, what do you make of that first half, mate?
I was all right with it. And I think we're going to see a lot of that first half again between now and certainly January, where we're all right. We were set up okay. We didn't give them much. We hesitate to use the word dominated, but we're in sort of some level of control, right? It was really all Tottenham, not Wolves. But ultimately, we just lack a little bit of quality in that final third. So aside from the Kudos header, which was well saved by Johnston, we didn't really create much, I don't think. Obviously, we had with the goal disallowed. That's where being an ex-ref ruined your watching of the game. So I could tell by the referee's body language that he was going to put the flag up. So that literally everybody's up celebrating, and I didn't even move. I just said to the guy next to me, "It's offside."
Well, the goal we were talking about, Kudos, great goal, wasn't it?
It was great. It was great, but we're reliant on a moment like that because we don't have a lot else. I think we do have some good players, Kudos and Simmons, but if they're not quite on it, then I just think we're going to huff and puff a lot and not have much quality in the final third. Udogie frustrates the hell out of me. I just don't see. I don't see the player of an. In fact, I see the opposite player to what the general view seems to be, that he's a bit dodgy defensively, but he's great up front. Well, not up front, but great attacking. I see almost the exact opposite. I'm pretty happy with him defensively. And again, I thought he did all right in defence. And he covered for the centre-backs a couple of times really well. I thought he was great defensively against Brighton. I just see a guy who can run quite aggressively going forward and then has like zero end product. It's like there's just no point. All his positives he gets from running sort of assertively and with the ball, then he either can't cross or he takes too long. The amount of times our attacks break down with Udogie because he can't find a man, I think is unbelievable. So I just don't rate him going forward at all. And this is the problem, right? In that final third, we have no left wing at all. Bergvall for me is never a 10 at all. I think he's someone who drives with the ball. He's good at that. So like as an 8, picking the ball up from a sort of lower midfield position and getting you up the field, great. As a sort of 10 to create anything, I've never seen him create anything at all in a Spurs shirt. I don't think since he's been here. I don't even know why we keep putting him in the 10. I've just not seen anything from him. Richarlison's a waste of space. So it's just quality we lack. I didn't think first half, the structure and the way we played, I was totally fine with it.
I'll go to Haz in a sec, but we struggle to create clear-cut chances, right? We have. It's clear, the data says it. I saw something last night. Let me bring it up on the screen. I think Haz saw this as well. I remember seeing your post on it. Hold on, let me just bring it up here. This one here. You remember this, Haz? You saw that? Yeah. From open play this season, the XG has been very low. And I've got to say the performances show that, they really do. We're not creating clear-cut chances. And I know everything's work in progress. I know you've got to give it time. I get that. But when I watched that game against Wolves, we just really struggled to create clear-cut. Yes, there was some chances, but we just really struggled. Is it a problem with the left winger? Yes. Is it a problem in the number 10? Yes. Is there question marks with a certain quality of players like Richarlison? Yes. The doggy, he does a lot right. But as Chris, like you said, he gets to that final third and he just doesn't know what to do, does he? Doesn't ever get crosses in. And I hope that gets better with coaching, right? You would have thought in training, that's what they're doing it. Keep getting that ball out. Let's keep crossing it.
Did you see that there was a video that came out from training in the week where they were literally doing that with the doggy, just putting him down in the channels and saying, right, just cross it.
Yeah.
And first time crosses as well, really. But then you get to the game and he wants like 43 touches before he wants to cross the ball. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then that one chance he made, chance he didn't make, I think it went out for a corner in the first half, summed it up completely. There was some nice play on the left wing that freed him up and he had the freedom of the pitch, right? But took so long that the cross didn't even come in and it was blocked and went out for a corner. That sums him up in a nutshell. So when I'm saying he's crap going forward, I sort of stick by it. But I'm not blind to the fact that he does good runs and gets into good positions. But I think it's completely pointless if you can't do anything when you get there. You might as well not make the run. Really, it's not massively of any value. Although we win a corner, fair play.
So frustrating, Has, isn't it? Like, what do you think of that player, Doggy? I mean, the jury's out for me, to be honest.
He's still, to be fair to him, he's still pretty young. But I think Udogie struggled because he came as a wing back as well, like from Udinese, and then he went in straight into an Ange system where it was just a free for all, basically. And then he's finally got someone who's coaching him, but it's going to take a while for him to coach him into some sort of half decent left back, really, because Chris makes a good point. Defensively, he is actually a lot better than people want to admit. Like, he's actually is a lot better, but he just doesn't know how to he just hesitates so much, like in the final third. I just feel like there's massive hesitation. Like, he just doesn't know. But I think a lot of young players suffer with decision making. They just take too long on the ball and don't decide what they're going to do with it. And I think maybe with the coaching, maybe he'll get better. I don't know. But we do this with all our players. We sign them. Well, not all of us are like this, of course. Probably not us on the panel, at least. And then they big them up for like a year, saying he's the next, I don't know, Roberto Carlos or something, as an example. And then he really isn't. He's just half the average fullback. But that's Tottenham fans for you, I guess. But this is the same sentiment with Udogie, because obviously we were so starved of someone half decent there since Danny Rose. The first half decent young player that comes in there, we just blow him up as if he's like the best thing ever. So this is why the fall feels so like bad now, because he's just not as good as we think he was. But there's still room they can improve, but it will just be down to the coaching, whether he's willing to work on the certain areas where he needs to work on, like, i.e. like putting the ball in, like Chris alluded to in the training. When it came to it, he just took like 20 touches before even doing it. Like, his decision making is the biggest for me. The difference between, say, like a top player and like a mid player, the decision making. If your decision making is too long or too short or whatever, it just makes the difference.
Oh man, yeah. Look, I agree with you. And let's just go to a comment before we move on to that second half. Barry, again, we had nothing on the bench to react. We did it. It was Porro and Johnson. Really, those two would never turn a game. The lack of quality forwards was called out in the transfer window. Look, Barry, we're getting to that. I'll tell you, we're definitely going to get to that. So look, just some summary of that first half. I felt that we were okay. Maybe could have gone a goal up. But again, I thought, look, we're getting into half time. We've got to play quicker, got to move the ball faster. Yeah, we're just too slow. We just didn't do anything really threatening. And I felt, well, what do? You just quicken the play, quicken the tempo. Maybe a substitution was needed or something, because clearly on the left it wasn't working with Savvy there. But guys, half time comes. Wolves, Pereira makes a tactical change. Right? Did you all see this, guys?
Yeah.
Did you see what he did? Yeah. So he put on two defenders, right? Changed to a back five. Shut down all, because how we were attacking was from the width, right? It was from the fullbacks. It was from Kudos. He was clever. He shut all our creativity down, right? And then I think they scored, right, Chris? Is that right? After that, it wasn't too long, was it?
They scored 10 minutes. 10 minutes, yeah. I think, into the second half. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest about their goal, right? It's just one of those goals where they haven't done anything special to score that goal. But in any match, you can concede a goal like that. It's not. But so I got in a debate about this sort of late last night, where someone was saying how we were like super dominant in the first half and we were much better than Wolves. I'm like, but surely this is exactly Wolves' game plan. They're not going to come to Spurs and try and dominate. So they're going to say, right, Tottenham can have the ball. We'll defend. We'll limit their opportunities. And in the first half, barring that header that hit the bar, what else did we create? And they're just going to try and hit on the break. I didn't think they hugely did that. And they actually did it ironically better after they scored than they did before they scored. But hitting on the break and the set pieces are basically your go-to game plan if you know you're the weaker team. So I thought Wolves executed that for 93.5 minutes, pretty much exactly as they would have wanted to.
But with that tactical change, right? Yeah, that player who came on, I can't pronounce his name. I've got his I'll bring it up. Hold on. Let me bring it up, guys. Because I thought his performance was he's really good. He was from the Serie A, I think, this player. Begins with T. I don't even want to try and pronounce it.
Jackson is how you pronounce it, mate.
Jackson, yeah, that's the easy thing to say, yeah. Jackson, who came on there, I thought cut down. I mean, he moved off Kudus on the left after bringing on Johnson and Porro, which completely killed his game because we didn't see him for the rest of the game. But defensively, this guy, and also I was impressed with that performance from their attacker, Arias, who came from Brazil. I think he played quite well in the Club World Cup. Very tidy on the ball. He didn't lose possession. Just, some couple of really standout performances there. They had another centre back as well. I'll bring up their lineup. Hold on a second. Bring up.
They're good quality Black Country names. Jackson, Chapchua, and it's where I'm from, by the way. If you didn't know, guys, I was born in Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Is it Bueno or Cregi?
It's a Bueno played really well, I felt. Generally defensively, and there was another player they brought on. I haven't got it to hand, but defensively they were strong. But they put another body in midfield. They started to win balls, get the ball higher up the pitch. We to be honest, we looked like once that change of formation happened, we didn't know what we were doing. It looked like in my eyes. Yeah, we struggled to keep possession. We struggled to string any passes together. How we attacked just went out the window. So I'm thinking, okay, Frank, you can see this. Everyone can see that tactical change from Pereira has impacted on that game, right? And we just completely lost control of the match. Now, so what if you're Frank, what do? You make a change, right? Tactical change, substitution change. He decided to bring on Porro, which was okay, fine, he's creative, and Johnson. When Johnson came on, I just thought, and then we looked even worse because when we play with Johnson, you go down to 10 men, really. He doesn't do anything, right? So let's start with that first, Haz. That substitutions, what's your thoughts on that? And also that tactical change from Pereira and how you felt Frank didn't react.
Well, he did. I felt like he sort of reacted to it straight away, but I don't think he reacted to it in the right way. Because first of all, we went to a diamond. I don't know if you guys noticed. He shuffled Xavi further inside, and he pushed Pauli on the right of the diamond. That's what I noticed anyway. I don't know if maybe I looked when I was there. I noticed it wrong. I don't know. And Pauli, and they tucked in, and then Bentacle kind of sat, and Bergwall played there, and then he pushed Kudus a bit further in initially. But I don't think that was the right move because it just made us more narrow. Maybe he was thinking he was going to play the players in the pockets and maybe that was going to work. I don't know, but that's something I noticed because maybe he thought we're not going to get any joy from the width, so let's push everyone further in. But I think all it did was stifle us even more because they had an extra body in the midfield anyway, and all they did was just be more compact, and that countered basically our formation change with the diamond thing. And then he made the substitutions. Now the Porro one I think was a simple one because Spence is more our best defensive fullback, and therefore that's why he got taken off because Porro is just more attacking. And I did think Porro made some sort of impact to the game, so I thought it was a good change. As for Johnson, I think the only reason
we didn't get control of the game, did we? Yeah. We couldn't control the game. So them changes he made, why couldn't we control the football? What was it?
Because like I said, they stifled us in the middle because they became more compact. And then obviously they scored off a set piece, which meant they're going to go even further back as a consequence. And they're going to be even harder to break down because now they don't have to score a goal. Even a point for them, I guess, is sort of a decent result. But this Johnson change, for me, it wasn't bringing on Johnson that was the problem. I thought we brought him on just because he thought he might score a goal. It's the fact that he put him on the right and put Kudus on the left, which basically stifled the creativity he was trying to create, basically. So before, Johnson would come on and play on the left sometimes, or he started on the left, for example, against City. And Kudus would put the balls across the box for Johnson to score, right? Because Kudus was the creativity on the other side. Now, in moving Kudus onto the left, the problem is Kudus is not going to create anything on that side for Johnson to score off the right. So that was like, as you fume about him going on the left, that was my problem with moving Johnson to the right and Kudus on the left, because you're stifling the creativity for the purpose of Johnson being on the pitch. I know that makes sense. But that was the problem with moving Kudus on the left. It just stifled our creativity, really. And obviously that just helped them just keep the ball. And then obviously made more changes later on. He went for it at the back, and that's where we eventually scored the goal. But there's even times when, like, he brought in Tell near the end as well. Like, he just chucked everyone on in the end. And we had no structure, and we got the goal. But it was just frustrating. But then once Wolves went 1-0 up, it was going to be like this. They're always going to just get further and further back and be more compact. And the Kudus change was the biggest problem. And then eventually he moves Kudus into the 10 later on in the game. I don't know if you guys noticed. But by then it was probably too late.
Okay, yeah, fair points, Has. Yeah, it just didn't work, did it? Whatever Frank did.
He tried
he did try to adapt, but it couldn't impact.
Yeah.
He was talking about in his press conference that when they made that chat, and he said he was struggling to get a message on the pitch, right? They made that, went to a back five, and he couldn't get his message across. The changes he made didn't help, made us look worse. I think we really struggled because you had Bergvall then dropping back deeper, and he got nearly caught out a couple of times. Chris, what should have Frank done? What did you think of his kind of reaction to what the Wolves manager did?
See, this is where I have sympathy for him. I've seen a lot of, it's on Frank and stuff like that. But I think Haz has alluded to there were quite a lot of little tweaks and changes that he tried to do. I think it's so easy in hindsight to go, well, they didn't work. It's on the manager. But I think he's in a position where what would have worked? When you've got the players he's got, what is he supposed to do? I don't think
there's an error. Kudos going on the left, mate. Come on. That's a clear error.
But if it's not working as it is, you might as well try and change something than just persisting with the same thing, right?
But it was working, mate. It was creating things on the right.
Half, it wasn't, was it? It absolutely wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah, so fair enough.
62 minutes is when he brings Johnson on, and we'd done nothing in that 17 minutes of the second half, and we're now a goal down. So, and it's the same as when I go back to the starting lineup. Really, I think he's sort of damned whatever he does here, because there's certain elements of our team that are so far off the level. It's just moving around the ineffective part of your team, no matter what you do. So I don't blame him when he's watching it and it's not working, to go almost out of desperation. You can't turn to your bench and bring, dare I say, an Eze off the bench like Arsenal are doing, or something like that, or I don't know, a Marmouche, or we don't have that. So he's looking at the bench going, what am I going to do here? You've got our best players on the pitch. All right, I can bring on Johnson or Odebear, or I can try and move the players around a little bit. I feel like he's trying everything he can. And yeah, none of it worked.
So you think it's options, really, Chris? The options coming off the bench, they weren't there. And you're right, they weren't there. I got to agree with you there.
And that's why I feel sorry for him. So we can look at it in hindsight and go, well, that change and moving Kudus and whatever you want to say didn't work. And you can't dispute that. But there's no obvious alternative as to what would work, because we are desperately short is the simple answer. So I do agree, and I'll sit here and accept probably the vast majority of the criticism, if you like, that, well, that doesn't work and that doesn't work. Fine. Tell me what he should have done, because I don't think any of it is really going to work as it currently
could he not match their formation? Maybe gone wing backs?
Yeah, maybe, but then equally, I'm not
have
sure.
Her closer to Richarlison, have two in the middle. Could he have then got more bodies out, that kind of on the width there? Because we were getting outnumbered, weren't we, when we did attack?
Even more effective in a wing back system. I don't know what you'd do.
No, I would have moved him kind of either maybe play him in a 10. You know, he could have played him behind Richarlison, give him that free roll so he could run at the. Well, look,
sure, but when like said, he was there in bits in the game, and he didn't do anything in the 10 either. So
yeah,
I just find it. I find it so easy as a football fan to go, well, that didn't work, you must do better. Okay, what is that must do better? Because I think with what he's juggling, it's like, in the best will of, I'm trying to struggle for a more eloquent phrase, but it's basically trying to pick the least smelly turd, right? Like what is the least bad option here? And that's why, for me, I'm super chilled about it, really, because when we got to the end of the transfer window and I saw what he's got to deal with, I fully expected, and I still fully expect, plenty of games like this where we look all right in patches, and then when Kudus and Simmons aren't quite on it, we're going to look really poor. And then what do you do when we're really poor? It's like desperation at that stage. Throw on Johnson, throw on Odebear, 6 minutes to go, throw on Tell. That's how desperate you are. Because, like, well, what do you want me to do with these guys? Like, he's a manager, not a wizard. So I am relatively chilled about it because I've got faith in him. But he can't magic up something from... You can't make a Michelin star meal from McDonald's ingredients, right? So I think this is what we are.
Are we a better team, Chris, than Wolves, man to man? Even with those players missing when we got injured, even though the players that are coming off the bench, are we a better team than Wolves? Should we be beating them at home and dominating the game?
With the players we currently have.
First team.
If Simmons and Kudus aren't quite at the top of their game, I think we're quite an easy team to set up to defend. So irrespective then of man for man, are we better or not? I think we're going to see that happen quite a lot, where we can't convert that superiority in class because it's not really in the final third. So we can, like the first half, we're going to have plenty of games where we dominate the ball, but we don't create. So we might be better defensively. I'm not even starting on the goalkeeper because I'm not a Vicario fan. Defensively,
I'm not either. Don't worry.
Oh, I can't stand the guy. But anyway, we might be defense better, definitely. Midfield, maybe. But the problem is to make the most of that, you've got to convert it into goals, and we lack it. So there'll be plenty of games where we are technically better than the other team, and we're going to struggle to see that on the score sheet, in my opinion, until you.
But that second half, Wolves were the better side, right?
Yeah.
We'll agree with that. They played really well. Yeah, what Pereira did tactically impacted on the game. He made subs. It made a difference, right?
There was no composure. There was no. I was talking to the guy next to me saying that for all of our midfield options, and we have some depth now, in the sense of the drop off in quality between all of them. I think they're all much of a muchness. So the positive of that is I don't think, like in other areas of the pitch, the drop off is huge. I don't think it is between Bergvall, Sarr, Bentancur, whoever. The problem is I don't think any of them are particularly great either. So whilst the drop off's not brilliant, the ceiling's not brilliant either at the moment. I mean, maybe in the future for people like Bergvall. So I think we lack someone who can go in there and sort of dictate play a little bit more. And I watch players like someone like an Elliot Anderson, who I think is a fantastic footballer.
He's great.
Yeah.
I think he just walk into our team at the moment and just sort of take control of the midfield a little bit more. But so I think we lack that. So I fully take that we're a better team than Wolves, but I think this is going to happen to us quite a lot between now and January at least, if not the summer.
I'm going to bring in Haz in a minute. People watching, please smash the like button. There's 44 people in here. Please, if you could just press the like button, it'll really help us. Subscribe if you haven't as well. Please subscribe to Haz as well. His channel's linked, pinned at the top of the chat. Give him a sub as well. I'd be much appreciated. Look, it's interesting, right? I'm a lot harsher than you, Chris, and Haz, I think as well. I feel that it was wasted 2 points. We've got to win these sort of matches. It's a long old season. There's plenty of games to play. We're going to suffer injuries. Yes, we've got some injuries now, but those ones are kind of from the summer. We haven't really seen them much in the team so far. I think this is the sort of period where you really got to maximise results. Wolves, look, we dropped points against Bournemouth in a very underwhelming performance, which was a worry. I was just disappointed. I really was. I felt Frank could have done something different to impact the game, but I do get what Chris is saying and Haz is saying that, the quality of the bench is not there. Kudos, Xavi didn't have particularly good games in that second half, especially because Xavi didn't have a great game at all. It's an interesting one. I want to pick up with Haz about, this struggle with us creating open, clear-cut chances. Now, what is going on with that, Haz? What is your outlook? I know things take time. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Go for it.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to allude to Chris said quickly, and then I'll answer your question. Basically, I think Frank's made us hard to beat because he knows we're not going to score as many goals as we should. Because last season we conceded 20. How many goals did we concede last season? I've lost count. Sorry, but so he's brought in Paulinho. He's settled on his back 4-5, whatever you want to call it, and obviously he's gone a lot with Palina Bentancur, so I think he knows that we will struggle to create chances. So as a consequence, he's kind of made us harder to beat regardless anyway. And so we're going to have to rely on maybe scoring 1 or 2 goals to win games. Like, for example, the own goal we were lucky to score against, was it the first Champions League game against, who it was now? Villarreal, that's it. So once we got the 1-0 lead, he kind of thought, we just settle on it and we'll see it out as a 1-0. That's the impression I got with that game, for example, because he knows we're going to struggle. Like Richarlison, for all his work rate, is just not the right quality. You might give him the service, but clearly, as we saw yesterday, he's not going to get on the end of everything. But it's mainly because our creativity is coming through one player. That's the problem. It's just Kudus. Bergvall, for his running, is not a creator. I agree with Chris. I think he's more of an 8 than a 10. But because he's a young player, I think Frank is just chucking him in as the 10 to see how he does there, really, I think. And our left-hand side is a problem regardless anyway. So playing Xavi there was not going to be that successful, I don't think. And I think, we've seen so many different players that played on the left. It's more beneficial just to have Xavi in the middle and Odegaard on the left. I would have gone with that. I agree with you totally. But even then, is Odegaard going to create that many chances off the left? I don't know. I'm still questioning his end product since he signed. So really, we're relying on the wings for our creativity, but then our wings aren't, apart from Kudus, so that's running one side. The other side's not creating anything. And then the middle was kind of just moot. It's just like a solid base, and that's about it. Like, it's not much creativity out of it. But I think maybe with Sarr coming back, maybe we can do a bit more, just because he's more like a ball carrier. And to be fair to Sarr, he has given us a little bit extra this season, with his goals and his crosses, and that. Maybe we'll get some more out of him. I don't know. Maybe he's part of the answer, but maybe with the midfield of Paulinho/Bentancur with Sarr and Xavi might be a lot more productive. I don't know. We'll have to just try it out to see how it goes. But I think the biggest problem is just we don't have enough creative players, and our best creative player is stuck on the right. And and it's not a central player, so all our creativity is coming off one side, literally.
Yeah. There's issues, man. I agree. Yeah, most things you say. I just want to go to Joe Bloggs. I hope you're okay, man. Joe Bloggs, love to you, man. I saw your comment earlier in the chat, man. I hope you're okay, man. We have quite a few average players of limited talent, lacking a winning mentality, apart from the players are relatively normal individuals. Look, I think we do lack top quality in certain areas of this team, forward line, central midfield. I do. Chris, how does Frank solve this issue now, right? The games are going to come thick and fast. Yeah, I'm going to get the fixture list up soon. Now, before the game yesterday, I was quite hopeful. I was thinking, look, it's not a bad run. We can pick up quite a few points. But it's really getting to concern me how poor we are attacking at the moment, and how we're so reliant on moments, set pieces, mistakes from the other team. I mean, if you just reflect on, Wolves defended well last night, right? They were organised, they set up well. Same with Villarreal, really hard to break down. We really struggled in them games. Bournemouth as well. Chris, what is Frank going to do? How is he going to manage this situation?
Well, your phraseology initially was, how is he going to solve it? And I think the answer is, I don't think he does.
However, what can he do in the short term? Because we've got games coming when the January window's not open. What can he do?
But this is where I'm massively defensive of him, because I think if you come in from my elite managerial experience on Football Manager, for example, if you come in and you haven't really got any attacking players, although he's unlucky because Maddison and Kulusevski right now would make a big difference to us. And then you've got a number of players and you can kind of move them around. But he's basically got two, even Solanke, by the way, and Muani would make a big difference right now. I'm not Solanke's biggest fan, but he's levels above Richarlison. So he's lost all of those players. So I think he's been a bit unlucky. So what he's got to work with right now going forward fundamentally are Kudus and Simmons. So if I'm looking at that, thinking, well, I could focus on trying to make us great going forward, but that's going to be really hard until we get some more better players into the squad, whether that's back through injury or through signing them. So if I'm faced with that as a problem, I'm going to think, well, it's going to be really difficult to have that kind of attacking. How do you put it? That when players just kind of work together really well, it's going to take time to do that. Even if we had the players, because Simmons and Kudus both knew in. So that kind of there's a word that was escaping.
Savvy will get better. We hope, right? It's early days. I think we do need to give him time to get used to the Premier League, find his right role in the team. Yeah, I'm not. I'm going to give that guy time, right? I'm not going to be too harsh.
100%. But if you inherit that attacking problem, and I'm looking at the squad at whole, I would think that I'm going to go, right, that's a real long-term issue that I've got to address. What can I address in the short term? I can try and shore us up, make us more organised, and I can try and leverage the set pieces. I think that's exactly what he's done. And the good thing about that is the structure of the team and the set pieces, the corners and the throw-ins, they're repeatable in every game, no matter how well you're playing or who is playing. So I think get all of those things in place, and then the kind of stardust that comes from playing well and the players' relationships getting used to each other, that is a slow burner, and it's very difficult when you've only got two decent attacking forwards. So it will get better.
Is that what you think, Chris? We've only got two decent attacking forwards in your eyes. All of those forward players
right now, yeah. If Kulusevski, Maddison, Mwani start playing, then we've got better options. But right here and now, yeah, we've only got two decent players going forward. So therefore, I'm totally supportive of Frank. Shore the defence up, maximise the set pieces, hope that you get a bit of magic. But if you don't, what you're going to see as a result is a game like yesterday. And I think that's going to happen. The reason why I'm relatively chilled about it, I expected it. I expect more of it. And I don't think the solution is a quick fix. So get all the other things right. And I think mostly he is. Then I'm just managing my expectations. I think anyone who at this stage thought we were going to play.
I just Wolves, mate. We're not talking about a really good side that we've dropped points to. And, it could have. It's Wolves. I think that's what it is. They've lost 5 games. You're thinking, come on, big chance, get 3 points, keep up there. We are still up there. But, taking advantage of other teams' missed points.
Yeah, it's still the Premier League, though. There's no. And this season especially, it doesn't look like there are quite the teams that are massively out of their depth like there was last season.
Did you predict Spurs to win yesterday, mate? Did you think?
Yeah, of course. I said 2-1. I said we'd go behind and that we'd come back and win 2-1. Because I didn't think it would be particularly easy, and I thought going into it, just going, well, Wolves have lost every league game. If you actually watched the games, they weren't that bad. They narrowly missed out in a couple of games, and against Everton, they lost largely because Everton had a player who, on their day, was absolutely brilliant going forward.
But Leeds at home, they lost, didn't they, last weekend?
Yeah, sure, but it can happen. The free kick that Leeds scored was absolutely crazy, right? That I can't remember the guy who scored it, but that was an amazing goal that they scored against Wolves. So that can happen at any time. Wolves, I don't rate them. I think they are in trouble, but I don't think equally they're a whipping boys like we saw last season. So I always thought it would be difficult, and I thought the difference would be, this is what's going to happen against the lower half teams. With a squad as we have right now, the difference is going to be a moment from Kudus and a moment from Simmons. We did have that moment, but Kudus was 2 yards offside. Had that gone in and that counted, I think maybe the game would have been a bit different. But when that's not going for us, then we go behind to a set piece that can happen at any time. A team that's worse than us is then going to just largely sit back and try and counter. We're going to find it difficult to break down. It just panned out exactly kind of how I expected. So I'm not that worried about it.
You thought the game was going to go that way and it was going to be a struggle to win?
I didn't think it would be a walk in the park by any means, because I don't think we have the ability to do that to almost any team. All right, maybe Burnley, we did that. But on the day, it can happen, right? You can have a worldie like Richarlison scored. But generally speaking, I think we're going to see this a lot. I think we're going to struggle to break the teams down until we start to get Mwani, Solanke, I guess, are the first two, hopefully, that will come back. Maybe Kulusevski at some point pre-Christmas, if we're fortunate. This is who we are for me in the next few months. We'll win some because Simmons and Kudus will play well and produce something, and then we'll have a game where they don't. So for me, we could beat any team because we're well structured. We're hard to score against. Simmons produces something amazing. We can beat City or we can beat Liverpool. And then equally, I think we could struggle to beat Sunderland if we haven't got the attacking players on their game. The opponents hit us with a counter, with a set piece goal. We struggle to break them down. So I'd be massively surprised if there's not more of this going forward.
So we're not going to win many games at home, Chris.
I saw a stat today.
Sounds like that. It's going to be. You haven't got a lot of confidence.
I haven't got, but I'm equally not that worried about it. Bizarrely, I did see a stat today that we've won 3 of our last 17 home league games, which is
but that was since under Ange, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
And we've lost some goals. We have lost some goals, haven't we? That's true. We've lost goals. Madison, Kulusevski, Solanke's been out. We are missing goals. Yeah.
I just think it'll be a mixed bag, Dan. I think it'll be a mixed bag. We'll turn up some days and our better players will be on the game and we'll just win it with plan A. And when plan A doesn't work, we're gonna really struggle and we could lose to anybody on the day because we don't really have any plan B because we don't have the players. And if you lose a goal or 2 to set pieces, which any team can do, yeah, I expect to see a mixed bag, and I expect this to be the way it is for some time to come. But bizarrely, despite saying that, I think Frank's doing everything he can, really.
Look, and they'll probably think maybe I'm being a bit too critical, right? And it's not like I want Frank out or anything. It's about analysing the game, looking at what happened yesterday. My concerns when watching the team, yes, we do have a lack of quality in the forward line. We 100% do. We need better players. We do. Richarlison's not good enough. We need a winger. Xavi's going to take time to adjust. Kudos can't always do it in his own. I know there's issues there. I think defensively, we're so much better. Midfield, look, longer term, I do think we need somebody like Ann Anderson, Chris, like you said, or a Wharton in there. We need better quality in that midfield. Bentancur, I think's okay, but I think we can do better. Paulinho, I mean, what a goal, Haz, eh? That was a fantastic goal, mate. Wasn't it? The only bit of quality of us in the game.
Yeah, his second goal in the week for Paulinho. Again, he probably was one of our better players yesterday. But you can see the difference Paulinho makes straight away. Like, he's experienced, 30 years old, came from Bayern. I know he didn't play much at Bayern. He's played at Fulham. It was like one of the best number 6s, I thought, in the league for a while. And he's just made us a lot more comfortable defensively just by being in the team, really. Like, the amount of tackles he makes. But I think he's probably better with the ball than a lot of people give him credit for. Of course, the 2 goals, but taking away that for a second, I thought his passing was pretty good yesterday. So for me, I was more relieved that we got the equaliser, but also
I didn't see it coming, mate. Honestly, I didn't see it coming. I thought we weren't going to score at all.
But there were so many late goals in the Premier League yesterday, so I kind of had a little bit of hope that we would score.
Did you?
Especially, but call that blind hope, I guess. But like with me, like considering also our record against Wolves, I thought the point was kind of like not bad. Like, if that makes sense, because we haven't beaten them in like 4 years. So I think they beat us last season. They beat us the season before. I think they beat us under Jose. They beat us under Conte. They beat us under Poch. Like, for some reason, they just always beat us. Even at home, I'm talking about we lost at Wembley against Wolves. I remember years ago with Poch. So the point on the face of it, considering the circumstances, wasn't that bad. But I agree with Chris. We're going to see a lot of games like this because we might be hard to beat, but I think we'll also struggle to break teams down. Like Sunderland that you mentioned, I'm already scared of playing Sunderland because I've watched pretty much all their games and they actually look quite good. Like, they should have won last week against Villa. I don't even know who the manager is. I can't pronounce his name. I think it's a French guy or something. But he's clearly doing something with that team. Like, you can see it. And obviously, they won away to Forest yesterday. And they're going to be quite hard to play against. I can't remember when we played them, but I think it's going to be a struggle because teams will just come to Spurs and just park the bus. And this is the problem we're going to have because we don't have enough creativity. It will be quite hard to break them down.
Well, look, we didn't lose the game, right? Frank has only lost 1 game, hasn't he? Overall, since he's been here. It's 1 defeat. Yeah. Okay. Bournemouth, we lost. I don't know, guys. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this team right now. Honestly, I think there's some good stuff, but we can all see the issues with how we attack. And I just have a look at some kind of. Is there anything else anyone wanted to say about that game before we kind of move on?
Can we talk about Vicario, or we're not allowed?
Yeah, of course we can. Yeah, Vicario. There's been a lot of criticism about him.
My issue with Vicario isn't actually like the goal. It's more to do with his kicking. Like the guy just can't kick a football. He just can't kick a football. His distribution is so bad. It's just unbelievable. Like I'd rather see Kinski in goal next game, to be honest. At this point, I'm kind of just done with him. Like
it's such a tough one. I mean, it's been a bit of a pet topic of mine over the last couple of years in opposition to everyone who keeps saying that like he's one of the best keepers in the league. I've never seen it. I fully accept that from time to time he pulls off some brilliant saves. I've got no issue with that. I have a massive issue with a keeper who can't command their box at all and spreads panic throughout the defence. Ironically, I actually think he's been a little bit better at that this season than he has previously. But yeah, he's woeful with the ball at his feet. I don't blame him for the goal. I've seen people saying, "Oh, he needs to stop palming it out forwards." Well, he didn't really, though. He palmed it out to the side and it just hit Palhinha. Right? So I don't really blame him for that. But yeah, there were times. I mean, you heard it in the crowd, right? I got frustrated with him.
Is he too flappy, Chris? Isn't he? He's a bit flappy. He's.
For me, there are some basics of goalkeeping that are non-negotiables. If when I'm on Football Manager again, I want my keeper to be one that's come in and commanding. And I can accept a little bit if he can't quite make the level of world-class saves that maybe Vicario can, because that's the trade-off for me. I want someone who's brings confidence. So I look at other keepers in the league. I'm going to make a silly comparison, but bear with me. It's not directly with the guy, but the type of player. So Donnarumma, he's crap with the ball at his feet, right? But he dominates the box. He's also a phenomenal shot stopper. So I'm not expecting someone as good as Donnarumma. Although I was advocating, like before anyone else came in for him, right? Go and get a butt.
What about the Wolves keeper yesterday? Johnson looked quite
Johnson's
strong.
not a great. He played well yesterday. He's not a good goalkeeper, mate. He's not.
I think Henderson's great at Palace. I think he was a great goalkeeper.
He's a good keeper, but we should have gone. For me, we should have gone and got. And now I think someone we could have got is the likes of Mamardashvili, who's number 2 at Liverpool, who's a commanding goalkeeper.
That's what you want, that commanding. That's what I like to hear. Commanding keeper.
Why can we not find someone like that? I mean, I think you could even rival, when they signed him, there's a potential you can rival a bigger club if you're saying you're our number 1 and they're saying you're our number 2. I think you've got a chance. So, yeah, he's not for me. However, I will temper that slightly and just say in the list of things that I need to see us address, he's not near the top particularly. He's certainly not in the top 2 or 3. But long term, we need to go from a team that's 17th and we need to re-establish ourselves as a decent team challenging for 4th, 5th, 6th. I don't massively have a problem with that Vicario could be in a team that does that. If you want to push on from there to win a league, I don't think you win a league with not that I'm saying we're going to win the league, but I don't think any team ever gets anywhere near that with a goalkeeper like Vicario. He's just not that level at all.
I have to agree. And guys, the chat, James, afternoon to you. He doesn't think Frank is a good manager when it comes to attacking football. Now, I'd like to counter that argument because I think at Brentford, he got his team together, didn't he? They scored plenty of goals and they did attack well. So I think with time, he can get it right at Spurs, but I think we do need to sign better players for him to do that. I agree in that sense. We're going to have to play better. We're going to have to attack better. Yeah, we got to win our home games, especially the likes of Wolves. I'm sorry, we've got to pick up the 3 points. Anyone want to respond to his comment there?
I don't agree because the amount. Bear in mind that when he started at Brentford manager, they didn't win in their first 8 games or something. So it's not as though, and this is where you have to just be realistic about your expectations. It's not realistic that a manager's suddenly going to come in and you're going to transform from day one and be an amazing side. But look at what he did at Brentford. He brought players in that pretty much none of us had ever heard of. Who'd heard of Mbeumo when he signed for them, or Visser, or players like that? I had heard of Ivan Toney because I was living in Peterborough at the time when they signed him. But signing Peterborough from League One or whatever. And look at what he's ultimately done with them. But that didn't happen overnight. He didn't just sign Mbeumo and all of a sudden he's a great player. It takes time. So totally fine with it. I don't expect right now we're going to be amazing. But I don't buy into the fact that Frank is a defensive manager or anything like that. I think you just come in and he builds sensible foundations. Start with being hard to beat, and you can work on the other stuff as you go.
Yeah, go for it, Haz.
I disagree with his comment as well, mainly because Frank lost a lot of players at Brentford and he still managed to create goals out. For example, when they sold, was it Watkins? Was it Tony at the time? He moved Mbuemo and Vincent to like a 2 with the 3-5-2, and they got 30 plus goals between them. And because that's the limited attacking options he had, and he still created how many goals through it. Like, so he's not a crap attacking manager. In fact, I think he's probably a lot better than people give him credit for, because of the limited options he had at Brentford. He still managed to create a lot of goals out of it, adapting to what he had. But I think the goals will come, but we just don't have even the levels of like a Visser and Mbuemo at Tottenham, unfortunately, or even like a Tony or even Watkins like he had. We don't even have that level of player, even when they just went to Brentford at the beginning. Like Richarlison's just not that level. He's not going to get any better, Richarlison. He might get 10 Premier League goals if we're lucky, but I just don't see him scoring more than like 13.
Okay, right. Anything else about that game? All right. Chris, do you want to do a little summary of it, or whatever you want to say? And then we're going to kind of move on a bit. Just we're going to go for probably another 15 minutes. Guys,
I can summarise my position pretty quickly, which is because I can understand why people would say, how can I be so patient now and so impatient last season, which I could understand as a criticism. But what I see now, frustrating for sure, but I don't see huge tactical flaws. So I think long term, this is a more viable approach, and I'm willing to wait and build, and it'll improve. Last season, what I saw was huge, obvious to me, tactical flaws that if you just tweak something, it will make it much better, and we never improve. So yeah, I'm hugely impatient with a manager who doesn't maximize what he has. And as frustrating as it was yesterday, I still largely think, yeah, sure, I'm not saying he's done everything perfectly, but I still largely think Frank is trying to do that. He's set us up sensibly. He's focused on the things that he can control fairly easily in the set pieces. And I think we will improve in time going forward. But right now, I don't know which manager in the world suddenly makes our kind of forward four into world beaters at the moment. I don't think anybody does. So that's why I'm patient with it.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Chris said. Like, for me, yesterday's result, okay, it's not ideal, but we tend to lose against Wolves, so I was kind of sort of happy with the point. But the thing is, Frank has already come in and improved 3 or 4 things, like right off the bat. Obviously, Chris alluded to like the organisation of the team, like we look a lot more structured already. But it was also just the set pieces, like attacking and defensively. We already look 20, 30 times better than we did last season. I don't think we're going to concede the same amount of goals we did last season. Nowhere near. And I think if we had Ange there yesterday, we probably would have lost that game. In my opinion, at least. If Ange was there, we probably would have lost that game. Because there was also Frank. To be fair, to massive credit to Frank here, the difference between, say, for example, him and Ange would stand there with his like hands in his pockets and like this. But
Ange wouldn't have made any subs because we didn't deserve to win anything, right? So yeah.
But Frank, at least, like I watched him on touchline all game yesterday, and he was screaming at them, trying to get something more out of them. And I think that was part of the reason why we scored the equaliser, because he just kept trying different things or trying to push the players with a little bit more just to get something out of the game. So, which is kind of alluded to kind of his post-match like interview with that Spurs guy where he was talking about, when we're losing, it's best to get a point rather than lose. So that's what I think the difference is. Like, I think we would have probably lost that game last season.
Well, we drew, didn't we, against Wolves? Wolves had our number. We haven't beaten them in 6 games now. I don't think that's the reason why we didn't beat him yesterday. I just think Pereira outsmarted Frank tactically in that second half. I think player to player were better. We should have won the game. We should have done better. I'm sorry. I know I'm not saying, Frank's not doing a good job. I just think that those are the games where you need to be picking up the points. Yeah, taking advantage. And I was disappointed. I've got to say that second half performance just wasn't good enough. And I hope that we can win these games at home. We're going to need to pick up points at home, and we're doing better away at the moment. I think Frank is a manager. He kind of, when we play better teams, he has a different game plan. He sits in a bit more. I don't know. It's a different approach. When it's up to Spurs to take the game to someone, that's where we're kind of struggling right now, aren't we? It's interesting, isn't that? If you notice that, guys, that so like PSG, where the game plan played really well and unlucky against them not to win the game. Man City, we were fantastic. But you look at the games where we have to, when we've got to take the initiative, like Villarreal. I know we won the game, but it was only just the game yesterday. What's your thoughts on that kind of perspective, guys? That kind of, we would do better against the better teams, but we're struggling against the lower end teams.
That's Tottenham, I think. I think in general, I don't think it's just Frank, or because we've always had this, even under Poch, Redknapp, every manager, because people come to Tottenham because of our reputation. I'm not saying we're the best team in the league or whatever, and they'll come and just park the bus. Away from home, especially like, so for example, away to City, where we're sort of still the underdog. I know we have a good record against them, but because they're attacking us on the break, I think it's a lot easier for us to score goals because there's just more space in behind. Like someone like Kudus, for example. Yeah, that's just my feelings about it.
Yeah, I mean, under Poch, I think we had plenty of games where teams came and just sat, but we did win them. And the reason for that, though, go back to the prime Poch. You got Eriksen, Ali, prime Son, Kane.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When you've got teams who are going to come and set up like that, you need 2 or 3 at least players who are on the same wavelength, who have got the ability just to suddenly do something out of nothing. We just don't really have that at the moment. I think we do have a couple, but if you only have a couple, one's not on his game and maybe the other one's doing all right, but that makes it very easy to defend against, right? So at the moment, even if we play Simmons in the 10, which I think is a much better option, you put him on the left, I think, what do you want him to do? Because he's got a crap forward. You can't even get him the ball because we're lacking with that player in midfield to kind of transition the play. Play him in the 10, I think you'll get him more of the ball. He can't go to the left because what's the point? The striker's still shit. So he's only really got Kudus to perform at the same sort of level he's at. But that makes it super easy to defend against, right? Just double up on Kudus and then just you can give Simmons the ball. What the hell's he going to do with it? He hasn't got anyone to bring into play. So I think that's where we are. We just don't have those level of players at the moment that's going to enable us to break these down easily. That's not to say we won't win plenty of these games. I think we will. You might get Richie score a worldie or actually stay on his feet for longer than 30 seconds. That would be a good start. But yeah, that's just where I think we are, Dan.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
I'm expecting more.
I agree. I think that there's just such a lack of quality in that forward line, isn't there? And it's yeah, it is a lot to do with that, mate. I've got to agree with you, and Haz as well. So look, these are our fixtures coming up. We don't have to go too far ahead, but obviously Bodo Glimt away, guys. Thoughts on that game on Tuesday? Obviously, we won there last season in the Europa League. I just don't know about this one. I don't know where it's going to go, really. I don't know who's going to play. I don't know what sort of form Bodo Glimt are in. To be honest, I don't follow them. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows how they're doing. Guys, what are you thinking for this Tuesday?
We should win. We should win. I think he'll probably put a midfield of, because Sarr didn't play yesterday, it'll probably be something like Sarr, either Paulino Bentancur, like either of the two, and then maybe Xavi back in the 10, maybe against Bodo because he needs the minutes. And then I think maybe Odobert might come back in the team. I think Porro obviously is going to start because he didn't play the other day. We might even see Danso instead of like Romero or something, or Van der Ven, one of the two. Because he will definitely rotate because we've got Leeds on the Saturday lunchtime kickoff. So he's definitely going to change it up again. He normally does. And I guess we're going to see more of Richarlison up front because we don't have anyone else. So I think we should win, but I think it'll be quite a narrow win, like maybe 1-0 or something.
You reckon? So you're confident we're going to win it? Yeah.
Maybe 1-0. I don't know.
I think if they attack us, I think it will suit us better, right? Because we are better with space. So, if they approach it game, I think they will. I think they'll just go for us. You know, they'll probably want a bit of revenge for last season. They'll want to get a result over us. Their first time in the Champions League. How did they get on in their first game? Does anyone know?
They drew, but they were only playing Slavia Prague, so it was like a pot 4 playoff, I think. But their qualification game was absolutely Sums Bodo glimped up, right? So they absolutely hammered Sturm Graz at home 5-0, and then they went away to them and lost. They're obviously much harder in the freezing cold conditions on a plastic pitch, right? That's Bodo's thing. So I'm less confident about it. I mean, hopefully we'll win. We're better than them. I'm more confident about Leeds, to be honest, because I do think Leeds then at home will feel obligation to take the game to Tottenham, and I think that will suit us more. Will Bodo do that against? Maybe they will, and if they do that, that gives me more confidence. I don't know. I don't know how it will go on, but I'm just not going to overreact, mate. Even the problem.
Don't lose, isn't it? Don't lose the game. Win our home games in the Champions League. It should see you through.
We've had such a favourable draw, let's be honest, in the Champions League. Unbelievably favourable draw. If we can, there is a massive incentive for getting these wins in early. Our hardest game is PSG, right, which I think is game 7 for us, I think, off the top of my head. Might even be game 8, game 7 or 8. But if you can win your first 5, which we could, they're not unwinnable games, you don't have to worry too much. From that point onwards, you're probably going to be in the top 8. So there's a massive incentive because you don't want to be going to PSG with lots on it, right? Because that's going to be super hard. So it's a really important game. I just think we are where we are. So I'm not expecting this free-flowing performance and amazing attacking teamwork and stuff. I just can't see it. But hopefully Kudus, Simmons will be on form and we'll get some magic from them or something. But I'm pretty confident we'll be defensively sound, so I wouldn't expect us to concede too many, but we'll see.
Yeah, we should be getting something out of that game. You know, we should be. We beat them last season. People will be judging it, won't they? Ange fans, you know. Ange won over there. Fans should be able to win as well, you know. You'll get all of that. But it's a different context, isn't it? It's just a league format game. Yeah, we can't lose the game. Would I be disappointed if it's a draw? I mean, after the struggle yesterday, the team is clearly not really ready to compete yet, is it? It's not. I've got to come to that realization. But I think the frustration thing for me is that I see other teams in the Premier League not great either. So I'm thinking, well, why can't we do okay this season? If I look around that league, who's consistently performing well week to week? There's not many teams. Yeah. Is there? So,
I mean, the bit of hope, Dan, I would say. I don't know when Kulusevski is supposed to be back. There was some talk that he's actually started to do a bit of running, but that still could be a couple of months away at least, right? So, but if right now we had Solanke, Mawani and Kulusevski available, let's forget about Maddison. He's not available for a very long time, right? I think we'd be having very different conversations, to be honest. Even though we still lack a left winger, at least you've got some slightly better options to play people, maybe even put Decky there, I don't know. But I think it would be just so different having those options available. You've got more outlets, even if it is Kudus on the left, Mawani on the left, Decky on the left, I don't know. But you've just got more options of better quality players. So I'm hopeful, mate. Let's get... Mawani's the one that's frustrating me. Like, what is wrong with the guy? Like,
Chris, you were positive, mate. Sorry, yeah. Chris, you were very positive, thinking that we can be in amongst that top 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But with performances like we saw against Wolves, and you kind of think this is going to be an ongoing theme, surely we won't get enough points to be up there.
Let's revisit what I said then. I said we'd be in the top 4 or 5 come the end of October, which was October. Very much a reflection on...
It's not far away, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very much
I thought you said Christmas. I thought you said Christmas.
Because November's a horrible month for us. I don't know if you've seen the fixtures.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't stupid. Like, I checked the fixtures out before I said. Yeah, I still think we could be, but I mean, that Everton game actually is looking a bit harder than previously. And even Villa, I mean, Villa are about to kick off, right? They haven't won a game in the league yet this season. They've barely scored. But our fans probably, let's say they lose to Fulham today and they're in the bottom three, our fans will be, we should beat Villa easily. Football doesn't work like that.
Nope.
I don't like that, Chris, how you say easily, which there's no easy game, right? I get that, yeah. We shouldn't beat teams easy, but we should be winning the games at home against teams who are not performing as well as us or as looking as good. That's what I would say.
Yeah, Villa got really good players, right? They're, obviously, it's not clicking for them right now either. But they've got really good players. So on the day, anything can happen. But yeah, I mean, I'd be disappointed if we're not up near the top. That's only 2 more league games, isn't it? No, 3 more. Villa, Leeds, and Everton. I'd be disappointed if we don't get.
Sorry, Chris. I'm going to say bye to Haz because I know he's got a meeting. Haz,
mate,
thanks so much for coming on, mate. Please go and subscribe to Haz. His channel links at the top of the chat. It'd be much appreciated, guys. Thank you so much.
Dan. See you soon, Chris.
Haz. Take care, man.
Bye.
Yeah, let's just go for another 5 more minutes. Chris, it's intriguing, and just going back to those fixtures there. I mean, we did a show, me and Nige, yesterday, and we're kind of looking at these fixtures come up and coming, and we're thinking, okay, win against Wolves. We're saying win against Leeds, Aston Villa, we should be winning. Everton obviously is a tricky game. They're doing well. I mean, that's not going to be an easy game. And then you go Chelsea at home. You know, yeah, that's going to be a good game, isn't it? Really, because Chelsea are not great. I don't think we're great, but we're at home. We've got to start beating Chelsea again.
Well,
so
at the moment, being at home is like a negative for us right now, right? We're really struggling at home,
but Chelsea will want to win the game. They'll want to take the game to us, won't they? They won't just sit back. Maresca doesn't play that football.
One of those very many teams where we go, we never beat them, right? Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Wolves. There's a lot. We have a lot of bogey teams, don't we? But
yeah, I look at a bit of a reality check for me yesterday. I think I just think I've just got to kind of, I don't know. I just think there's opportunities this season that we could do okay, but if you can't beat Wolves at home,
mate, I'll just go back to what I said. My mantra a lot about even at the start of the season, and everyone's obsessed with where does Thomas Frank have to finish, and I always said the same thing, which is, I don't really care. I don't judge it like that. All I want to see is progression and a trajectory. And if that's from a low starting point, which potentially it is now, and we struggle quite a bit through the next 2 or 3 months, but I can see a structure that's viable long term, and it starts to improve as players come back through injury. Hopefully we can add some quality in January, and those performances start to get a bit better. You begin to see the players understanding how to play with each other a bit more. I'm totally chilled. And that might only put us 7th or 8th maybe at that time. I don't know. But as long as I try and project forward and think, what does the future look like 6 or 12 months down the line? And if I can buy into that we are likely to improve, I'm absolutely fine. And that was my issue last season. It wasn't even the position in the league. It wasn't even how bad we were. It was projecting forward. I'm like, how is this going to get better? And I couldn't see it at all. I just thought we were getting worse. I thought the trajectory was down. At the moment, Thomas Frank comes in. We can assess how he gets on early on. And as long as then we start to see an upturn, totally chilled with it for me.
Fair enough, Chris. I don't know. I just think, looking what I've seen across the league so far, nobody is really shining a light. Obviously, Liverpool. There are certain teams will be up there. I think there's an opportunity this season. What I've seen and what I've seen Frank so far, and what we can build on. I don't want to just be okay with progress. I'm kind of like, I think there's opportunities this season to do really well, right? So that's me. Different as a fan. I just think there's why not? We're playing this season. There's games to play. We're in competitions. Why don't we just take advantage of it and try and do something this season rather than just, okay, it's just progression and Doesn't matter really where we finish. I ain't seen, when I look at that league and I see other teams, and there's a few teams that impress me, but on the whole, I don't think there's many teams better than us in that league. So I think, why can't we try and get as high as possible in the league, push for Europe positions, and try and win a cup? Why not? We've got talented players, got a good manager.
Sure. I'm not saying we shouldn't try to do that, but there's 2 points there. One, in terms of the league and how teams have started over the longer term, those who've got much deeper and better squads and deeper squads, that quality will rise to the top. So
they are.
Poorly. Arsenal might be similar to us right now, but over the long term, they will pull away from us. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, I agree.
And in terms of opportunities, there might be, but my focus is much more on not the here and now of, have we got an opportunity now to win a trophy? That's lovely. And that's what happened last season. And I loved my time in Bilbao. Thank you very much. Great. It's just not sustainable long term. So I'm far more worried about, I'd sacrifice challenging for anything this season to lay the foundations for more consistent challenging in the future. That's just me. I know there are plenty of fans who seemingly don't give a crap if we lose 22 league games, if we go and win a cup. I don't see that as sustainable at all. So that's not what I want from the team. I want to go and enjoy what I'm watching and have hope that we're going to become a much better team. And I think now is a great time. Look, you've known me long enough to know that I'm not often seen as the most positive fan, I don't think. But I feel like at the moment, maybe I'm more on the positive side, because I think there's a lot to be hopeful about. We've got a manager who I think will improve us. All right, we might not be brilliant now. We might not be brilliant in November or December, but I think he will improve us. And the other amazing thing is we have hope. It might be false place, but we don't know yet. We have hope that we might go and try and really compete to get proper players in that can push us on to new levels. We haven't had that hope for a very long time. So there's reasons to be optimistic. I might be sat here I'm willing to give this new approach from the Lewis family. If they don't sell, I think they might well do. But if they don't, let's see. January's tough. I'm hopeful we'll get in some decent players in January. If we don't, I'm not going to be jumping on them too much. I can accept that. But then really next summer, I want to see some massive difference in attitude from them. This 12 months time, if we're playing Wolves and we're performing like that in 12 months time with a similar sort of squad, I think I'd sound very different.
Very fair points, Chris. Well said. Yeah, very well said. And look, thank you, Chris, for coming on. Big up to everyone in the chat. It was an interesting conversation. Yeah, we're a few of us kind of come at it at different angles, people in the chat as well. It's all about opinions, right? You say what you want about your club. And yeah, I really enjoyed our stream today. And thanks, Chris, mate. And everybody in the chat, if you could smash the like and sub, and if you haven't, that would be much appreciated. We'll be back Tuesday, me and Nyes be on the lane after the Bodo Glimt game. So come down and join us and see what sort of game that is. But again, Chris, so any final words from you, mate?
Just let's just be calm. Be calm. I think the disappointment at the moment from a lot of people is still just a natural, understandable emotional reaction to a disappointing performance. I can totally understand that. But if we just chill and look objectively to where we are, the direction of travel, the reasons to be optimistic, I'm like, need to pinch myself and go, is this really me? Because this is very unusual for me to sort of be the one to go, let's be positive. But I think there are reasons still to be positive, and one bad game or a number of bad games over the next few weeks is not going to massively change that for me yet. There will be a point where it changes, but for now, I'm on board with the Thomas Frank train, right? Choo choo.
Cheers, Chris, man. Thank you so much. Big up everyone in the chat. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care of yourselves. And as always, come on, you Spurs.